Good morning. I'm going to start this session with an apology, which I hope you will forgive me for. If you've tuned in to watch how to make a flower press, then I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Due to some technical issues this morning, i.e. my drill breaking, which I need for the session, unfortunately I won't be able to do it. But obviously we can't leave you without your craft fix. So I'm going to bring you today another session about adding colour to lino cut prints. And today's technique is called a jigsaw lino cut. And you'll see exactly why that will all become clear as we go through the session. So what I'm going to do is pop you down, talk through what you'll need for the session, and then we'll get started. So we have here a lino cut that's already done and one that's just in process. I've started by transferring my image to the lino, and this is the lino that I will be using. Remember, the transfer of the image needs to be a mirror image of what you want printed. That's especially important if you're using text. And then I'm going to start carving, and then we are going to cut it out into a jigsaw and then print with it. So I'm starting just with a very basic tool, and these have sort of blades that can be replaced, and larger blade gives you a deeper, larger cut. So I'm going to start with a number 1 blade, and I'm going to start just by going round the marks that I've made with a Sharpie pen, always cutting away from myself and making sure that my fingers are either at the side or below the blade. So whilst this session isn't solely about cutting the lino, that's not really the sort of the main aim of it. If you do have any questions, then please let me know. I'm cutting about a quarter's depth of the lino itself. You don't want to cut too shallow because that will fill up with ink when you print and you won't get a detailed print. And I'm just keeping my blade in the lino as I go around those curves, moving the lino rather than moving myself and ending up in awkward positions which could be quite dangerous, because I don't want to cut myself. And I'm really letting the blade do all the work. And it's quite relaxing, quite therapeutic. You just go nice and slow. It's a really nice mindful activity to do. As I come to the end, I'm just going to stop and take that piece of lino off. The lino that I'm actually using is called soft cut. So you may have done this previously, maybe at school when you were at school, and they would have used the proper linoleum, which is quite hard. It smells Hessian backed, it smells of putty. Well, absolutely, you can still use that. That's still made. But if you're just a beginner or you want a little refresher, then this soft cut lino is a really good one to use because it is so easy to carve. I've gone all the way around the outline, so now I need to deal with the detail in the middle. And if you notice, I've not cut on the line, I've cut just to the side of the line because that will give us the maximum print area, so we won't end up with a sort of a straggly looking print. So this technique only works with certain images as well. When you're choosing your image to carve, make sure that it's an image that can be cut into sections, sort of like a child's jigsaw. So just bear that in mind. Then I just need to take these bits out here, which is the shine of my acorn. So if you're just joining us this morning, hello, welcome. I'm demonstrating how to add colour to lino cuts using a technique called a jigsaw lino cut. And as the name suggests, we're going to be cutting this into a jigsaw-like arrangement and then printing in different colours. It's just an easier way to add colour than cutting, for example, we're going to be using 3 different colours, easier way to add colour than cutting 3 different lino sheets, which is the sort of traditional way to add colour, cut more than one colour to a lino cut. Keeping my fingers well out the way of that blade. And if you've got any questions, please do pop them in the comments. The way my camera is set up, unfortunately, I can't see the comments live, but what I will do afterwards is have a look through and answer any questions you've got. So now I'm cutting, as you can see, on this line. That's going to give me a good sort of gutter line to work with when I make those cuts. And I'm cutting on the line here because I want this line to be in the white of the paper that I'm printing onto. If that sounds a little confusing, once it's printed, that will make sense. I just want to add a little bit of detail here I hadn't actually drawn in. Let's just make that stem a little bit more interesting. There's just a few more main cuts to make, and then we can cut it out using a craft knife. So let me just check. I've made cuts, that all looks good. I'm going to be printing this in 3 different colours. So the leaf, the caps of the acorns and the acorns themselves are going to be 3 different colours. So I'm going to cut these 3 different sections out. And for that I just need a craft knife and a craft board. Let's clear away all the lino cuttings. So using a craft knife, I'm going to cut the leaf out first. So you might think, well, why didn't I just go straight in with a craft knife rather than cutting this out? Well, with a craft knife you get a very different cut. You get a nice smooth line with the blade of the lino cutter that you don't really get with the craft knife. So that's why it might look like I'm doubling up on work, but it's all to do with the type of the cut and the print that you get. If you wanted to, you could experiment, try both ways and see which one you prefer. You could also use scissors if you haven't got a craft knife. And then I want my leaf separate, so again I'm going to cut that line that I've made, just trimming it off neatly. Just ease it out. And that's the first piece out the way. Then I want the caps. Actually, I think I'll cut the actual acorns first. Cut that piece off, save that for later. You can use that for another print. So now I can get into the caps. And I want to keep the caps together, so I don't cut this line. Cut around here. So another reason I don't go straight in with the knife is you can be a lot more controlled with the blades. There we are. So I did actually think they might come off in 2 bits, but that's great. I've just got 1 piece there. So that means I've only got to ink 1 piece up. And I don't need to cut that bit out because I used the blade. Make sure that's trimmed nicely. Yeah, make sure they're it's nice and smooth as well. And we're ready to print. So to print, you need a piece of acrylic or perspex, or at least something that's flat and smooth. You'll need your rollers. I've got one roller per colour, and you also need your block printing ink or lino cut ink. And just to make the point that we're printing in different colours, I'm going to go for a rather fantastical array of colours for my acorns. So I'm going to stick with green for the leaves. I'm going to go, I think, pink for the caps and blue for the acorns themselves. I've also got a piece of paper ready to print onto. This is just a test print, but you can use sort of a good thick paper when you're ready to print. And also I've got what's called a barren, and that means that I don't have to use a press, so I'm going to use that as a press. If you don't have a barren, you can use the back of a wooden spoon or a metal spoon, or even another roller that's clean and dry. Let's start with the green. So I just need quite a small amount because they're not very big pieces. And I want to roll that out just so that I'm covering the roller or the brayer with a really good even coating. And my table's not very flat here, actually, it does sink slightly. So I'm not getting the best. So make sure you do it on a really good flat surface as well. But that's okay for the moment. It's just for a test print. And I've got my blue, again, not a lot of paint, of ink. And then finally the pink. That's a little bit dry, that one. If you don't have inks or sort of don't want to spend out on them, because the lino cut inks are a little bit more expensive than, say, acrylics, which you can't use, by the way, because you don't get a very good print. It doesn't have the right consistency to stick to the lino. So if you don't have lino cut or block printing ink, then you can use the stamps. I'll just get the right one for you here. So you can just use ink pads. So ink pads that you use for stamps, they work really well with this lino as well. So that's a slightly less messy way to do it. Then I want to ink up each piece. So what did we say? We said blue for the acorns themselves. Put this on a scrap piece of paper. So that's the blue going on. Then I said pink for the caps, I think. And I just carefully lay that in there. You can see exactly now why it's called a jigsaw print. Pop that alongside. I'm just going to move it slightly over because when I print I don't want to pick up that ink. There. Make sure my hands are clean and that you can see that properly. Yes. Turn it round. Now I'm going to lay my piece of paper on top, and then with my Baron just firmly move it in a circular motion, making sure to get right to the edges and in the middle. And are you ready for the reveal? And there we have a jigsaw cut lino print. So thank you for watching with me today. If you've enjoyed it, please do like and share this video. If you've got any comments, then please do use the comments below. And as I said, I will go through afterwards and I will check if you've got any questions. Again, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy printing. Bye.